Welcome back to another episode of What Should I Get Pierced? My name is Scott Wilkinson. I'm a professional body piercer, and I have been since 1994. Now, on this show, we're going to take a look at 6 different people. I look at their faces, I look at their ears, I'll tell you what would be good possibility for piercings, and ultimately what I think would look best on them. Now, the first person we have to look at today is Nam, so let's take a look at her face. Now, I don't see any visible piercings right away, and the first thing that kind of really stands out is her lips. So I immediately think a gesturum could be a lot of fun. Just a vertical lip piercing like that. And also, if you didn't like the upper one, we could totally do a lower vertical labret as well. Either way, I think they would look really, really nice. Now, another fun option here would be nostril piercings. I could see possibly one. No, I see 2 on one side. I don't know why, but sometimes I see more on one side instead of the full balanced look. But when I do something like this, I would want to balance it out with maybe some lip piercings, like you can do a single one over on that side, maybe an eyebrow piercing over here, just on the inside, like so. That kind of balances and pulls everything together. Now, another fun option here would be to do a second nostril, but just on the other side, kind of balancing things out like that. I could also see a Medusa piercing, just a center upper lip piercing. And another fun thing would be angel bites. Slightly on the outside, just like that. Angel bites would look super, super cute. And my last option here, I think, would be a dermal anchor. Like I said, if we decided to do a double over on the nostril like this, I think maybe a dermal anchor on the upper cheek like that would work really, really well. And now for my final picks, I would do a Medusa, a nostril, and an eyebrow. Now let's take a look at her ear. Now see a couple high lobe piercings, a regular lobe piercing, and a helix piercing here. She mentioned her ears are pretty small, but there's a lot of curves here, and those curves are what we're looking at for piercings. What I mean by that is I could see a doth piercing. Doth piercing would work really well. A good possibility of getting a tragus piercing, and even the anti-tragus kind of creating that orbital, where you wear the ring through the 2 piercings there. You could also do a conch piercing. Conch piercing would look kind of nice, kind of almost creating that faux snug piercing. You see how they almost look connected right now if you did 2 of the same size beads? We can always add more helix piercings. As you can see, more of those going up the top of the ear actually looks really, really nice. And another great option here is going to be the rook. Very prominent rook to pierce. And there's not a whole lot of room because of this anti-helix for the industrial, side to side like that. But we could do some anti-helix piercings kind of coming right up the ear like that. So, lots and lots of possibilities. But my final picks are a doth piercing and 3 more helix piercings. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Now up next, we do have Seraphina, and Seraphina doesn't have any piercings and is looking for a new one. Basically, there's a lot of great options here. First one, again, I would like to start off with would be something around the lip area here. I could totally see an Ashley piercing there. An Ashley piercing would be absolutely beautiful. I could also see the vertical labret. Try a straight one there. That's much better. I could also see the Medusa or philtrum piercing. I could also see snake bites. A little higher up towards the lip like so. That would be super, super cute. I always love septum piercings. A septum piercing would work really well. Get that healed up and a nice tight little ring in there. Classic nostril. Can't go wrong with a nostril piercing as long as the glasses don't rest right on that spot. As far as my ultimate pick, I think you should get an Ashley piercing. Let's take a look at Seraphina's ear. Now, Seraphina has 3 lobe piercings and plenty of room for more other piercings. First thing I'm seeing right here is a slightly longer healing process, but that would be the industrial piercing. Perfect little ridges there. I think an industrial piercing would work unbelievable for you. I could also see a flat piercing. As you can see, there's not a lot of curves there. It's nice and low, which gives you a small jewelry, big jewelry options. I just love flat piercings. Now another option here would be the tragus piercing. Classic tragus, that was one of my first year ones. You could also see a conch piercing. Possibly a double. Not sure why, but I think that double would work really, really well for you. A rook piercing is also a really classic one. It's the inner ear cartilage, so therefore these do heal really nice, so it'd be a great first cartilage piercing. And of course, this ridge going down your ear is perfect for a whole bunch of helix piercings if you wanted to go that route. You know, just kind of spread them all the way out. Go all the way down until you get a nice symmetrical balanced look all the way down the ear. Now, as far as my ultimate pick, I would have to go with a tragus and the rook. And up next, all the way from Germany, we have Yannick. Now, Yannick is newly kind of started to the piercing world, looking for more suggestions here. I see the septum piercing, looks fantastic, and I can see a couple lobe piercings, and I got some ideas already for those, but I'll get to those soon. Now, as far as more facial piercings, once we have someone with a mustache like this, I love the idea of something called mustache riders, where basically you do angel bite piercings where the Monroe piercings are just above the mustache, so you don't have to worry about shaving around them, and it shows off the jewelry, and those gems are right on the top. It's a really cool look. I hope it catches on, but that would be my first suggestion here. And then sometimes when you do something like this with the septum piercing, you can balance things out in the middle here by doing like maybe vertical labret piercing. You can do a normal labret piercing. Even something like dolphin bites there. As you can see, it kind of creates that nice little circle around that area. And then as far as upper piercings here, with his glasses, you can see there's enough of a gap here where they don't touch. And I think high nostrils would be super, super cool too. See, high nostrils with glasses like that work really well, as long as they're not resting on there. And then, of course, we could do eyebrow piercings. I could almost see a double on one side like so. I could even see one on each side. Lots of fun options here. As far as other piercings go, I could also see snake bites. Did I line those up right? Yeah, for sure. And a Medusa or philtrum. The Medusa or philtrum with a mustache like this, generally there's not as much hair there, so it does show through, and it's a nice other way to kind of centerpiece that mustache. Now, as far as my ultimate pick goes, I would have to go with the angel bites and some eyebrow piercings. All right, let's take a look at Yannick's ear. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I did have an idea for that earlobe piercing. He mentioned he couldn't quite start stretching it yet, but if we took this and we were able to put a little nice tight ring around there, you could do a high lobe piercing above it, and once that's healed, wear a ring inside of a ring. Kind of encompasses each other. It's a really, really fun look. Now, as far as other piercings go, I could see a tragus piercing. I could see a rook piercing. I could see a snonch piercing, which is right here where the snug kind of meets the conch. Nice forward-facing gem there. Looks really, really cool. And a possible vertical industrial. Looks like there's enough room where you could run the barbell all the way down and having the bead on the back side of the ear. And for my final picks, I'm going to go with the rook and a tragus. And up next, all the way from Argentina, we have Camila. Now, Camila has a bridge piercing, a couple eyebrow piercings, and plenty of room for more. Now, first thing I want to say is you got to keep your eye on these eyebrow piercings right now, they look like they could be kind of growing out. They look kind of thin, but if you downsize to shorter bars, they might still be okay, but keep your eye on them. Now, as far as other piercings go, for sure, I could see an Ashley piercing. With your lips like that, the forward-facing gem, just stunning. Another possibility here would be mantis piercings. Some forward-facing gems on the tip of the nose like that with a bridge. Really, really cool look. I could also see a jestrum. That vertical upper labret. And I could also see dahlias. Dahlias would absolutely be adorable. Just on the outside edge of the lips like that. For my final picks, I'm going to go with the mantis piercing and an Ashley. Now, let's take a look at Camila's ear. Now, Camila looks like she has 2 lobe piercings. You can see a couple of them down here without jewelry in there. Definitely should get some jewelry in there. That's always more fun with piercings when you're wearing the jewelry in there. Now, as far as other piercings, I could see anti-helix. You see this whole area right there? I could see a triple anti-helix, one there, medium-sized one there, and even a bigger sized gem up top. That would look really, really beautiful. You could also go with a conch piercing. The conch piercing started off with a stud, maybe put the ring in there when it's healed up. I could see an anti-tragus. This is the anti-tragus right here. As you can see, if we did a bar there and came out that direction on that side, nice little curved barbell. Super fun piercing, long heel, but super, super cool. And of course, we could always add more helix piercings, a nice little groove or pocket there to fit 3, 4, maybe even 5 piercings if you wanted to. Now, as far as my final pick goes, I'm going to go with the triple anti-helix and the anti-tragus. It's a lot of antis, makes a lot of positives. Now, before we take a look at Ty, make sure you hit that like button so we can continue making these videos and try to feature each and every one of you who sent in your pictures. Now, Ty already has 2 piercings here. We can see a nostril piercing and a septum, and I think they look fantastic. The only quick suggestion I would have would be right away, balance things out so you can get that whole trinity thing kind of going. Nostril, nostril, septum. I love that look. Now, as far as adding other piercings, possible bridge piercing, as long as the anatomy's right. You can see how nice barbell up there would be super rad. I could also see, again, a Medusa piercing. Medusa with the right septum, if there's enough room right there, it works really well as long as the jewelry doesn't touch the other one. I could also see a couple of outer angel bites, just like that. We could also add some eyebrow piercings. Hard to see through the hair, but sometimes that jewelry will stand out up there. And now for my final pick, I'm going to have to go with the bridge piercing and the other nostril. All right, let's take a look at Ty's ear. Now, Ty has 2 piercings here, 2 lobe piercings. The lowest one is being stretched, and she was curious on how or what I think here. Now, that doesn't look totally centered here, but if you decided to kind of try to stretch it over that way, sometimes you can add extra pieces of jewelry, like little barbells, something on the inside, and that kind of redirects it a little bit this way. You might be able to bring it a little bit more center, but there will be plenty of room to stretch even if you don't do that. Now, the only problem I'm going to see is that this bar or that ring off to the side probably will interfere, and sometimes it just becomes part of the new hole too. So, looking good. Just remember to take your time on that one. Now, as far as new piercings go, I love the flat of your ear up here. Now, I don't know if I'd want to do a single flat piercing. First thing I see is maybe kind of creating some sort of a design like this, where it's almost like a little triangle. Yeah, as you can see, it kind of feels like 3 upper studs up there. Gives you lots of gem options. You can hang chains off those. It's a lot of cool options with a triple helix like that. Now, we could also do a snug piercing. It looks like there's enough of a ridge here where we could get away with a snug. Again, it's a long healing process, but it looks really, really nice. Definitely could do a tragus piercing. and also a rook. There is plenty of room for the rook right up in there as well. But now, easily, for my ultimate final pick here, I would have to go with the triple helix up top and a tragus. The last person we have to look at tonight is going to be Haley. Now, Haley already has a single nostril piercing and is looking for more suggestions. So to start off, I would like to possibly add a second nostril piercing here, maybe one right in front of that, and add the second ring once it's healed up. I would also love to add a septum piercing. I think a septum piercing, nice symmetrical face, works perfectly. I could also add an Ashley piercing here. I could possibly balance out the other nostril with the other side, just like that. Eyebrow piercings. As far as placement goes, a little bit in, but not too deep. Just like that, kind of pointing towards the corner of the iris there, just like that. Super, super beautiful, beautiful diamonds up there. I can see also spider bites. Spider bites on the side of the lip opposite of the nostril piercings. Lots of fun options here. As far as my final pick goes, I'm going to have to go with the spider bites. Now let's take a look at Haley's ear. Now, as we look at this ear, it's kind of full, and I love the jewelry options. You've done really, really well. But let's take a look at your other ear, because I think your other ear isn't as decorated. Correct. Now, as far as decorating this ear, what I would love to add would possibly be some forward helixes. I would say a double forward helix here, and we could also add a flat piercing right in the middle of that anti-helix up there. We could also add the industrial. Looks like there's plenty of room to run that bar across the top. I'd also love to do a snug piercing. And if you didn't want the snug, we could always do the faux snug type thing where you did a conch and a helix piercing on the outside. We could always add another tragus piercing and some more lobes if we wanted to add a couple more of those. And for my final pick for Haley, I would like to go with an industrial and the conch piercing. So that winds it all up today. How do you think I did? Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, if you enjoy videos like this, hit that subscribe, hit that like button, and of course, keep putting holes in your body. We'll see you all in the next video.